A boy lands one kick 40 times in a week. Then 5 judges sit down, and he can't land it once. Everyone says nerves. Science says something else, and it's not fear. By the end of this, you'll know exactly why kids freeze at belt tests and the 2 tools that unfreeze them.
Saturday morning, 9:15. The dojo doesn't sound like Tuesday. No pads popping, no feet slapping the mats. Just quiet, and the small scrape of 5 chairs behind a long table. Kai stands in line with the other kids. His yellow belt is tied perfectly. He tied it 3 times in the car. His name is called. He steps out alone onto the open mat. He bows. Somewhere behind him, his mom holds her breath. And here's the thing you need to know about this exact moment. The kick they're about to ask for? Kai owns it. He landed it Tuesday. He landed it Wednesday. Thursday night, in the corner by the window, he landed it 11 times in a row while his dad watched the news. The head judge nods. Kai breathes, turns, spins, and stops. Half a spin. His foot comes down early, in the wrong place, like it forgot where it was going. He resets, tries again. The second one wobbles through the air with none of Thursday's snap and taps the pad like a question instead of an answer. The room is polite. Nobody laughs. The judges write something down, and in the car afterward, the adults do what adults do. He panicked. He got in his head. Some kids just aren't built for competition. Every one of those sentences feels true, and every one of them is aimed at the wrong target. Because the kick didn't disappear on Saturday. The kid didn't change on Saturday. One thing changed. Eyes. On Tuesday, nobody was really watching. On Saturday, 5 judges, 30 parents, and a phone camera were. Therefore, the real question isn't why did Kai fail? It's this. What do watching eyes actually do inside a kid's brain? Science has been chasing that exact question for 40 years, and the answer starts with a word nobody uses at belt tests. In 1984, psychologist Roy Baumeister published a set of 6 experiments in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology. All pointed at one strange event: choking under pressure. Skilled people, doing a thing they've done 1,000 times, suddenly failing exactly when it matters most. His finding flipped the common story upside down. Choking isn't caused by too little focus. It's caused by too much, pointed at the wrong place. Here's how it works. When a skill is new, you control it step by step. Foot here, hips turn, arm up, slow, clumsy, conscious. But when a skill is practiced, really practiced, hundreds of reps, it moves out of that slow system. It becomes automatic. Your body runs it the way you run walking. No steps, no thinking, just go. Think of it as 2 drivers. The autopilot, fast and smooth, built by every rep Kai ever did. And the manual driver, slow and careful, the one who was there on day 1. Pressure does one specific thing. Pressure makes the moment feel important. And when a moment feels important, the brain decides this is too big to leave to the autopilot and grabs the wheel back. That's the freeze. The manual driver, who hasn't actually driven this kick in months, suddenly steering a spin at full speed, checking the foot, checking the hips, micromanaging a machine that runs best when nobody watches it. Remember the last video? A beginner learns fastest by seeing the target, not the leg. Pressure is that law, running in reverse. The judge's table drags a kid's attention off the pad and back inside his own body, the one place it breaks things. So Kai didn't panic. Kai's brain switched drivers mid-spin. But hold on, something about this should bother you. Kai practiced more than almost anyone in that room. Thursday night alone was 11 clean kicks. Shouldn't all that practice protect him? Shouldn't the kids with the most reps be the safest? Here's the uncomfortable answer. It's the opposite. And the proof came from watching experts fall apart. In 2001, at Michigan State University, psychologists Beilock and Thomas Carr ran a now famous series of studies on skilled golfers. They asked them to putt under different conditions, sometimes with a distraction, counting sounds while putting, sometimes with attention aimed straight at their own movement. Watch your swing, monitor your stroke. For a beginner, watching your own movement helps. The manual driver is the only driver a beginner has. But for the skilled players, the result flipped. Distraction barely touched them. Their putting ran fine on autopilot while their conscious mind was busy elsewhere. Watching their own stroke is what broke them. Read that again because it rewrites Saturday morning. The better the skill, the more automatic it is. The more automatic it is, the more damage self-watching does. Therefore, the most practiced kid at a belt test isn't the safest kid in the room. He's carrying the most autopilot to lose. Even the rival, the boy who lands everything, the one Kai measures himself against, stands one bad thought away from the same freeze. His skill doesn't shield him. His skill is exactly what's at risk. So the freeze isn't proof the training failed. The freeze is proof the training worked. The kick became so automatic that conscious control now ruins it. Fine, but knowing why a kid freezes doesn't stop the freezing. Eyes will always show up on test day, which raises the real practical question. Can a kid practice being watched? It turns out, yes. Being watched is a skill, and like any skill, it trains. Sports scientists call it pressure training. In 2021, a team led by William Lowe at the University of Essex gathered the studies on it into a meta-analysis, practicing your normal skills, but with small doses of pressure deliberately added. An audience, a consequence, something on the line. The evidence goes back years. In one project, elite youth cricketers trained for 2 seasons with pressure built into practice, and came out tougher and better when real matches arrived. But the meta-analysis carries one warning that matters more than everything else: the dose. Effective pressure training gets close to the real thing and never equals it. Too little, and nothing changes. Too much, and you're just scaring a kid twice a week. The pressure has to be a ladder, not a cliff. Watch what that looks like in a living room. That week, Kai's dad changes the Thursday routine by exactly 1 step. He doesn't coach, he doesn't film, he just puts down his phone, turns his whole body toward the corner by the window and says, "Show me 1. I'm counting it out loud. 1 kick." 10 seconds of eyes. The first one wobbles. Of course it does. Even 10 seconds of dad watching pulls Kai's attention inward. But that's the point. That wobble is the freeze in miniature, happening somewhere safe. By the 3rd night, the wobble is smaller. By the next week, dad counts, mom watches from the couch, and the kick snaps like Thursday again, now with 4 eyes on it. Nobody lowered the bar. They raised it, one small watcher at a time. The dojo does its own version. At the end of class, the instructor lines the kids up and has them perform 1 at a time. Everyone else watching, everyone else waiting their turn. 30 seconds of belt test, every single week, until the feeling of eyes is just another part of the room. That's the first tool. Train the eyes in, before the test brings them all at once. But there's still one thing waiting for Kai on test morning that no living room can fully copy. The feeling. The pounding heart, the light stomach, the buzzing hands. The body revving up whether he wants it or not. Every adult in his life will offer the same advice about that feeling. Calm down. In 2014, a Harvard researcher named Alison Brooks tested that advice and found it fails for a simple reason. Calm and nervous are opposite body states. A pounding heart can't become a slow one just because you asked. Telling a revving body to calm down is a fight the body wins. But there's another state with a pounding heart. The same light stomach, the same buzzing hands. Excitement. Nervous and excited are nearly the same body, wearing different labels, which means the feeling doesn't need to be shut down. It needs to be renamed. Brooks ran the test across karaoke singing, public speaking, and math exams. One group was told to calm down. The other group said 3 words out loud before performing. I am excited. The excited group performed better, sang better, spoke better, scored better. Not because the pounding stopped, it didn't, but because the label flipped the moment from a threat into a chance. Same heart. Different story, and researchers who reran the experiment years later found the same shift just as strong. That's the second tool. It costs 3 words and it fits in the 10 seconds before a kid's name is called. 2 months later, Saturday morning, 9:15. Same long table, same 5 chairs. Kai's name is called, and his heart does exactly what it did last time. It pounds. The feeling shows up right on schedule. But this time, 2 things have changed. His body has felt eyes every Thursday for 8 weeks, and as he steps onto the mat, he whispers 3 words nobody else can hear. I'm excited. He bows. He locks his eyes on the pad, not the judges, not his foot, the pad. spin comes around. The kick lands. Not the best kick of his life. His best kicks still live on Thursdays in the corner by the window where no one is watching. But it lands, clean and real, in front of every eye in the room. So remember how this works. Freezing is attention in the wrong place, not courage in the wrong amount. The most practiced kids carry the most autopilot to lose. Eyes are a skill, and small doses train it. A pounding heart doesn't need calming, it needs renaming. Saturday morning. A boy stands frozen in front of a judge's table, and everyone watching thinks they're seeing a kid break under pressure. Look again. That freeze happened because his training worked. The kick became so automatic that his own watching eyes were the only thing left that could stop it. What if freezing was never your kid failing the test? What if it's his skill, asking
This
to be
week,
trusted?
1 kick a day while you watch and count out loud. 10 seconds of eyes, no coaching. On test morning, give your kid 3 words. I am excited. If this changed what you see at a belt test, subscribe. Next time, why losing a match might be the best gift your kid ever gets. Train the mind first. See you in the next one.